Alright y'all, it's your boy DJ Richie Sky. We're back with another video here on the Richie Sky in Real Life channel where we discuss travel, lifestyle, motivation, and pretty much whatever I want to discuss. And so today I wanted to discuss something that I know a lot of men deal with and some women actually deal with as well, and that is, I guess they call it male pattern baldness, but I don't know what you would call it for women. Female pattern baldness? I'm not necessarily sure. Whatever the case is, the end result is you end up bald in the top of your head, okay? Or in some spot in your head. Now for a lot of men, especially men like me, we end up going bald here on the sides first, right around here, and then it spreads into this little horseshoe shape right here. And for me, you know, growing up, I mean, I had a head full of hair. You know, I even had locks at a certain point. So, you know, I actually I loved my locks, man. Let me tell you something. I would dye my locks different colors and just, you know, when they started to grow. And actually, you know what's funny? People used to tell me before I started growing my locks, they were like, ew, don't do that, don't do that. You're gonna look crazy. But then after I did it, everybody loved it. After I went through the, you know, the grow out phase or whatever. And so anyway, one of the things that I used to do was I used to swear up and down that, you know, because I worked in corporate America, that my locks would always look fresh. And so I was retwisting my locks every week. In hindsight, for me, I don't think that that was the best thing that I could have done, but I did it anyway. And I think what ended up happening was because I was getting them retwisted so tight in specific areas, like for me, it mattered the most what it looked like here around the front. Not so much in the middle, because the front is what typically would show. And so I just wanted to always make sure that that was kept nice and neat, because I kind of felt like I was back then kind of pushing the envelope working in corporate America with my locks or whatever. Now it's just like, I mean, listen, rocking your locks is like it now. But I think at the time I was just a little bit nervous because I'm already somebody who's running around with tattoos and stuff like that. So I'm really just a rebel at heart. But anyway, I say all that to say, because I think I was, you know, retwisting my locks so much, I have to wonder if here around the sort of, I don't know what you call this area of the head, but I think the hair started to thin, right? And so I would notice that as I was getting them retwisted, the hair was just getting thinner and thinner and thinner, eventually until the locks actually fell out right here on this side. And so at that point in time, I just simply decided that I would just cut my head and just go bald and just embrace the bald look altogether. Now it's interesting, when I did go bald, I had been trying to get into this modeling agency when I had my locks. But then as soon as I cut my hair, they started to get me bookings, which was kind of strange. Anyway, once I ended up just sort of embracing the bald head, decided that the model life was not for me or whatever, but I just sort of said, this is the life that I'm gonna have to live at this point. I've lost my hair, you know, that process has already started. Let me just rock and roll with it. Because I think that the worst thing that you can do sometimes is, or at least I thought this, was to try to hang on to some semblance of hair as you're going bald. And I think for a lot of people who have never gone bald, I think nobody really understands the sort of mental trauma that you go through with losing your hair and losing your hairline. And so you kind of just have to embrace, you know, whatever your head looks like. And I know for me, I hate the shape of my head. I've always hated the shape of my head. I mean, because I have like the kind of like little dent right here in it. And to be quite honest with you, even now, you can still see the spaces, if you look at my head closely, where the hair still wants to grow in certain spaces here. But I shave my head every day so that you can barely see it. But when I first started on television on a show in Miami, and I was on TV every day, I was literally having to put foundation all over my head as well as my face in order to make sure that I had a smooth looking sort of look on television. So once that job ended, what I was doing was, when I first got on YouTube, I would actually just wear hats all the time so that nobody could really actually see my head, because who has time to be trying to put on foundation all over their head every day? And so for me, I sort of had to learn how to embrace the shape of my head, what it looked like, and I just kind of had to kind of rock with it. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's traumatic internally when you think about it, especially because you feel like people can still see the spaces where the hair grows in here, but it's not growing here, right? And so for me, it just always looks really bad. And because I shave so much, my head is going through like bruising and trauma and cuts and scrapes all the time, because I'm having to shave my head with a razor every single day. My hair grows extremely fast. The hair that does grow grows extremely fast, if my beard is any indication. If the hair on my head grew like my beard did, baby, we would be in business. So I thought about different alternatives to sort of rectify the issues that I'm facing, like the little dark spots on my head from where I've been shaving so much and the trauma that's caused to my head, as well as the spaces where you can still see where the hair kind of wants to grow and where the hair doesn't grow. And then, you know, obviously doing stuff on television and doing stuff in visual media, it's just very difficult to sort of work around that. And so one of the things that I thought about was actually getting a hair transplant. And in my mind, I was thinking to myself, what would I look like with a whole head full of hair? Yes. So I feel like, you know, I mean, if I got the hair transplant right, in about 2 years or so, I mean, I would be able to, you know, rock the look that the little young bucks rock. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the hair full of, you know, get it tapered on the sides right here, baby. You know what I'm saying? And then just, you know, rock my caps and stuff like that with this. But, you know, I was like, I don't really know how, you know, I don't know about that whole period of like, you know, when the hair is trying to grow back. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and I've heard a lot of horror stories. And so I also thought about, okay, so I could get like a man weave or something like that that will give me this same effect. And I'm just kind of like, I don't really know, you know, if the look is for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know if this look is for me. But ultimately, it might be a little bit too much, right? And then with getting a man weave, there's also the possibility that somebody could just yank this thing right on off, okay? So, you know, there's that possibility kind of out the window for me at this moment in time. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. But, you know, there is this part of me that does kind of also like daydream about what it would be like to have, you know, a full head of hair and to have my locks back. You know what I'm saying? And so I just, you know, I remember those days of like just feeling so like, yo, my hair is lit, baby. My hair is it. These locks, I mean, baby, let me tell you something. I used to rock them locks. I used to pull my hair back. I mean, listen, people used to love those locks. But I gotta just recognize that those days are over, okay? So, what am I to do, right? What am I to do? So one of the things that I've been thinking about, instead of doing the hair transplant or instead of doing like any type of man weave, which is just not for me at this moment in time, although I have seen a lot of great man weaves out there, is I thought about what they call scalp micropigmentation, okay? Now, for those of you guys who don't necessarily know what scalp micropigmentation is, that is where it's almost kind of like a hair tattoo to a certain degree, where they kind of go in and they use tattoo-like materials, I think, and they actually shade in the areas of your head to give you a sort of hairline type look, but it kind of looks like a nice little fade, and you can get it to where the line is crisp, you can get it to where the line looks more natural, and you can also just simply cut your hair with clippers, and so it'll give you a nice full smooth finish. Now, one of the things that I was doing was I was trying to figure out, now where do I want this hairline to be? Do I want the hairline to be, you know, right about here? You know what I'm saying? Cause I feel like, you know, I got a big head, you know, a big forehead. So I'm kind of just wondering, I mean, should the hairline be right there? Is that where it should be? Yeah, baby, yeah. I feel like now I think we cooking with butter, right? So I'm thinking that I'm gonna make myself an appointment with the hair, with the scalp micropigmentation people, baby. And so then we're gonna see what it looks like, right? But I wanted to take you guys with me on this hair journey because I feel like, you know, somebody else is going through this, and I felt like if I can find a solution that, you know, works for me and, you know, just be open and honest about it, then it might inspire somebody else to do the same, especially if you are suffering from hair loss. So chime down in the chatterization down below. Let me know if you've heard of scalp micropigmentation or SMP. Let me know if you've had a hair transplant or if you've done any type of man weave or anything like that. I want to hear about your experiences, and I also want to take you on this journey with me as I go through my scalp micropigmentation journey. So once I get it done, then I'll take you guys on the journey of, you know, what the process is like, what the aftercare is like, and then we'll do continuous updates in this little series. But for right now, that is this video. Once I get it done, I will let you guys know, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it, all right? So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so that you guys can follow the journey, and I will catch you in the next video.